the god of mischief. Loki, the notorious god of mischief, is often celebrated for his cunning and trickery, but let's face it, his existence is a Pandora's box of unpleasant truths that most would rather keep tightly sealed. This isn't just another tale of a mischievous deity pulling pranks for giggles. No, my friend, this is a deep dive into the murky waters of Loki's very essence. A journey that promises to dismantle the glamour and reveal the god as you've never seen him before. In popular culture, Loki has been transformed into a charismatic anti-hero, thanks in no small part to his portrayal in Marvel comics and films. Here, Loki is depicted as a misunderstood genius, a tortured soul seeking his place in the cosmos. And while there's truth in these portrayals, they often gloss over the darker, more disturbing aspects of his character. This modern version of Loki, complete with a cheeky grin and a flair for the dramatic, has become a fan favorite. It's easy to see why. Who doesn't love a bad boy with a soft spot? But this romanticized view is a far cry from the Loki of Norse mythology, a figure whose actions often bordered on the malevolent and whose motives were as unpredictable as they were dangerous. To truly understand Loki, one must first grasp the complexity of his nature. Unlike the other gods in the Norse pantheon, Loki embodies a duality that is both fascinating and terrifying. On one hand, he is a god, a being of immense power and influence. On the other, he is a trickster, a shapeshifter, and a master of deceit. This duality makes Loki a figure of perpetual intrigue and controversy. Loki's story is one of constant conflict and transformation. He is not content to play by the rules set forth by the other gods. Instead, he delights in subverting them. This rebellious streak is at the heart of Loki's character, driving him to acts of both brilliance and madness. It is this unpredictability that makes Loki both a revered and reviled figure in Norse mythology. The purpose of this piece is not merely to recount the tales of Loki's mischief. Instead, we aim to explore the harsh, often uncomfortable truths that lie at the core of his existence. We will delve into the psychological and moral implications of Loki's actions, examining how his deceit and manipulation reflect broader themes of power, trust, and betrayal. We will also challenge the youth to reconsider their perception of Loki. Is he truly the misunderstood genius that modern culture portrays? Or is there a darker, more sinister side to his character that we have chosen to ignore? By peeling back the layers of myth and legend, we hope to reveal the true nature of Loki, a god who thrives on chaos and whose very existence poses profound questions about the nature of divinity. The roots of chaos, Loki's origin. Loki's origins and early life are as enigmatic and complex as the god himself. Unlike his divine counterparts, whose histories are often straightforward and noble, Loki's story is riddled with ambiguity and contradiction. To truly understand the god of mischief, we must start at the beginning, delving into his ancestry, his early exploits, and the unique role he occupies within the Norse pantheon. Loki's parentage sets the stage for his dual nature. He is the son of Farbodi, a giant, and Laufey, a lesser-known goddess. This blend of divine and monstrous heritage creates a foundation of duality that permeates Loki's entire existence. Unlike Odin, who boasts a clear lineage of divine power, or Thor, who epitomizes strength and heroism, Loki is a being caught between worlds. He is neither fully embraced by the gods nor wholly rejected, a status that fuels his perpetual sense of otherness and rebellion. The giants, or Jotnar, in Norse mythology are often portrayed as chaotic forces of nature, adversaries to the gods. By being born to a giant father, Loki inherits this connection to chaos and disorder. However, his mother Laufey's divine lineage offers a counterbalance, suggesting a potential for greatness that is constantly undermined by his darker inclinations. This inherent contradiction in Loki's ancestry is a microcosm of his entire character, a being capable of both great deeds and profound treachery. Details of Loki's early life are sparse in the mythological texts, but the few stories that do exist paint a picture of a trickster in the making. From a young age, Loki displayed a penchant for mischief and deception, traits that would come to define his existence. Unlike the straightforward heroics of Thor or the wise rulership of Odin, Loki's exploits were marked by cunning and subversion. One early tale recounts how Loki, in a fit of jealousy and mischief, cut off the golden hair of Sif, Thor's wife. This act of vandalism was not just a harmless prank. It was a deliberate attempt to sow discord and chaos. To atone for this deed, Loki was forced to seek out the dwarves, master craftsmen of the Norse world, to create new hair for Sif. In doing so, he inadvertently brought about the creation of several powerful artifacts, including Thor's hammer Mjolnir. This story encapsulates Loki's role as an agent of chaos. His actions, though often destructive, can lead to unexpected and significant outcomes. Loki's place in the Norse pantheon is unique and precarious. He is often referred to as the blood brother of Odin, a title that suggests a bond of deep loyalty and trust. However, this bond is constantly tested by Loki's actions, which frequently undermine Odin's authority and disrupt the order of the cosmos. Unlike the other gods, who derive their power from clear and respectable sources, Loki's strength lies in his ability to manipulate and deceive, a skill that, while impressive, reveals a fundamental truth about his character. He is a god built on lies and trickery. Loki's relationship with the other gods is complex and multifaceted. He is both a companion and a foe, a trusted advisor and a treacherous betrayer. This duality makes him a figure of perpetual intrigue and tension within the pantheon. While the gods often rely on Loki's cunning to solve problems, they are also wary of his unpredictability and potential for harm. Loki's status as an outsider is a recurring theme in his mythology. Despite his close ties to the Aesir, the principal group of gods, he is never fully accepted as one of their own. This sense of exclusion fuels Loki's resentment and desire for recognition, driving him to ever more audacious acts of trickery and betrayal. This outsider status is exemplified in the tale of the building of Asgard's walls. When a giant offered to rebuild the walls of Asgard in exchange for the sun, the moon, and the hand of the goddess Freya, the gods were initially reluctant. However, Loki persuaded them to accept the deal, confident that the giant would fail to complete the task within the agreed time frame. When it became clear that the giant might succeed, Loki was forced to intervene, transforming into a mare to distract the giant's stallion. This act of deception saved the gods from their reckless bargain, but also highlighted Loki's willingness to use his powers for deceitful ends. Loki's origins and early life set the stage for his later exploits and the complex role he plays within the Norse pantheon. He is a god of ambiguity, a being who straddles the line between divine and monstrous, hero and villain, order and chaos. This duality is at the heart of Loki's character, making him one of the most intriguing and controversial figures in Norse mythology. The trickster, deception as a divine trait. Loki's reputation as the trickster god is well-deserved, and his escapades are legendary, painting a picture of a being who revels in deceit and chaos. Unlike other gods, who embody virtues such as strength, wisdom, or fertility, Loki thrives on his ability to subvert expectations and manipulate reality. His tricks are not mere pranks. They are profound betrayals that reshape the very fabric of the Norse cosmos, revealing the unsettling truth about his nature and the divine order he disrupts. Consider some of Loki's most infamous tricks. One of his earliest and most notorious acts of deception involved the cutting of Sif's golden hair. This was not just a simple act of vandalism, but a calculated move to provoke Thor, Sif's husband, and sow discord among the gods. When confronted, Loki's cunning nature came to the fore as he promised to make amends by obtaining new hair for Sif from the dwarves. His solution, however, was a trick within a trick, as he orchestrated the creation of several powerful artifacts, including Thor's hammer Mjolnir. This story encapsulates Loki's role as a catalyst for chaos. His actions, while seemingly destructive, often lead to significant and unintended consequences. Another example of Loki's deceit is found in the tale of Baldur's death. Baldur, the beloved god of light and purity, was immune to harm due to a spell cast by his mother, Frigg. Loki, driven by envy and malice, discovered that mistletoe was the one substance that could harm Baldur. In a cruel and cunning move, Loki fashioned a dart from mistletoe and tricked Baldur's blind brother, Hodur, into throwing it, resulting in Baldur's death. This act of treachery was not just an attack on Balder but a direct assault on the very heart of the divine community, plunging it into grief and chaos. Balder's death and the subsequent punishment of Loki foreshadow the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok, the end of the world. Loki's deception extends beyond the gods to humanity as well. His tricks often have dire consequences for humans, reflecting his disdain for both gods and mortals. For instance, Loki's role in the theft of Idun's apples of immortality plunged the gods into a state of vulnerability and aging, showing how his actions can ripple out to affect the entire cosmos. By manipulating the giant Thjatsi into abducting Idun, Loki not only endangered the gods' immortality, but also highlighted his willingness to use others as pawns in his schemes. These acts of deception are not just isolated incidents. They are indicative of Loki's fundamental nature. He is a being who thrives on chaos and disorder, constantly challenging the status quo. Unlike other gods who represent stability and order, Loki embodies the unpredictable and the uncontrollable. His tricks often expose the vulnerabilities and flaws of the gods, revealing the fragility of their supposed divinity. This dynamic raises a controversial question. If the gods can be so easily deceived, what does that say about their supposed omnipotence and wisdom? In a sarcastic twist, one might argue that Loki's deception is a divine trait worth celebrating. After all, what's more godlike than bending reality to one's will? But this celebration of deception comes at a cost, revealing a bitter truth. In a world where trickery is a virtue, trust and integrity become meaningless. Loki's ability to manipulate and deceive may be impressive, but it also undermines the very foundations of divine order and morality. His actions force the gods to confront their own limitations and the precariousness of their power. The psychological impact of Loki's tricks on both gods and humans is profound. His constant betrayal creates an atmosphere of mistrust and fear, destabilizing the divine community. The gods, who are supposed to be paragons of virtue and strength, are repeatedly outsmarted by Loki, exposing their weaknesses and insecurities. This dynamic not only challenges the hierarchical structure of the pantheon but also reflects broader themes of power and vulnerability. Loki's tricks force the gods to confront their own fallibility, revealing the inherent contradictions and complexities of divine existence. Moreover, Loki's actions often highlight the ethical ambiguities inherent in his character. While his tricks can lead to positive outcomes, such as the creation of powerful artifacts or the exposure of hidden truths, they also cause immense suffering and chaos. This duality makes Loki a morally ambiguous figure, embodying both creation and destruction. His existence challenges the binary notions of good and evil, order and chaos, forcing us to reconsider our understanding of morality in the divine realm. Loki's relationships, a toxic network. Loki's relationships with other gods are a masterclass in toxic dynamics, reflecting the chaos and conflict that define his character. Unlike the more straightforward bonds of kinship and camaraderie seen among other members of the Norse pantheon, Loki's interactions are fraught with manipulation, betrayal, and a perpetual struggle for power. These relationships offer a glimpse into the darker side of divinity, revealing the complex and often destructive nature of Loki's connections with his divine peers and family. Loki's relationship with Odin, the All-Father, is one of the most complex and contradictory in Norse mythology. On the surface, they share a bond of blood brotherhood, a relationship that suggests mutual respect and loyalty. However, this bond is constantly tested by Loki's actions, which frequently undermine Odin's authority and disrupt the order of the cosmos. While Odin often relies on Loki's cunning to solve problems, he is also acutely aware of the trickster's potential for chaos and betrayal. This dynamic creates a constant tension between the two, as Odin attempts to balance his need for Loki's cleverness with the ever-present threat of his deceit. Loki's interactions with Thor, the mighty god of thunder, are equally complex. On one hand, they exhibit moments of camaraderie and partnership, with Loki often accompanying Thor on his adventures. On the other hand, Loki's pranks and schemes frequently push the boundaries of brotherly love, revealing a deep-seated rivalry and a desire to outshine Thor. One of the most famous tales illustrating this dynamic is the story of Thor's stolen hammer. When the giant Thrym steals Mjolnir and demands Freya as his bride in exchange for its return, Loki devises a plan to recover the hammer by disguising Thor as Freya. While this plan ultimately succeeds, it also humiliates Thor, highlighting Loki's willingness to use his so-called brother's vulnerabilities for his own amusement and gain. Loki's family dynamics are a study in contradiction and conflict. His marriage to Sigyn, the goddess of fidelity, is a paradox in itself. While Sigyn remains loyal to Loki despite his many transgressions, his actions bring nothing but suffering and betrayal to their union. This relationship highlights the stark contrast between Sigyn's steadfastness and Loki's unpredictability, emphasizing the toxic nature of their bond. Moreover, Loki's offspring are embodiments of his chaotic nature. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, Jormungandr, the world serpent, and Hel, the ruler of the underworld, all reflect the destructive potential of their father. These children play significant roles in the events leading up to Ragnarok, symbolizing the far-reaching consequences of Loki's actions. The impact of Loki's actions on his relationships with other gods is profound. His constant betrayal erodes trust and creates an atmosphere of suspicion and fear within the divine community. The gods, who are supposed to represent the pinnacle of wisdom and strength, are repeatedly outmaneuvered by Loki's cunning, exposing their vulnerabilities and insecurities. This dynamic not only challenges the hierarchical structure of the pantheon but also reveals the inherent flaws and contradictions within the divine order. Loki's presence serves as a constant reminder that even the gods are not immune to deception and chaos. In the immediate aftermath of Ragnarok, the world is a place of stark contrasts. The old order has been swept away, replaced by a nascent world struggling to find its footing. The surviving gods, now fewer in number, must grapple with the immense loss and the daunting task of reconstruction. The death of key figures like Odin and Thor leaves a leadership vacuum that the remaining gods must fill. And in this new world, the lessons of Loki's treachery are keenly felt. The survivors, including Balder who returns from the dead, symbolize a blend of continuity and change, embodying the hope for a new era while bearing the scars of the past. Loki's legacy is most evident in the caution and wariness that now permeate the divine community. The gods, once prone to complacency and overconfidence, are now acutely aware of their vulnerabilities. Loki's actions during his life, culminating in the chaos of Ragnarok, have instilled a deep-seated understanding of the fragility of order and the ever-present potential for betrayal. This awareness shapes the new pantheon, influencing their decisions and interactions in profound ways. The gods are more guarded, their trust harder to earn, and their actions more deliberate as they strive to prevent another catastrophic betrayal. The impact of Loki's legacy extends beyond the divine realm, affecting the mortal world as well. The myths and stories of Loki's deceit and the ensuing apocalypse serve as cautionary tales, warning humans of the dangers of unchecked ambition, deceit, and the disruptive potential of chaos. These tales, passed down through generations, become integral to the cultural and moral fabric of human societies, shaping their understanding of right and wrong, order and disorder. Loki's story, with its themes of betrayal and cosmic upheaval, resonates deeply with the human experience, reflecting the timeless struggle between stability and chaos. Loki's children, the monstrous embodiments of his chaotic influence, also leave a lasting mark on the new world. Though Fenrir, Jormungandr, and Hel played pivotal roles in the destruction of the old order, their presence in the myths continues to shape the new cosmos. Fenrir's legacy as the wolf that devoured Odin is a reminder of the unpredictable and uncontrollable aspects of nature. Jormungandr, the world serpent, symbolizes the ever-present threat of chaos lurking beneath the surface of the world's oceans. Hel, ruling over the underworld, embodies the inevitability of death and the cycle of life and rebirth. These figures, though no longer active in the new world, remain powerful symbols of the forces that Loki unleashed. The philosophical implications of Loki's legacy are profound. His actions challenge the binary notions of good and evil, suggesting that the divine realm is far more complex and morally ambiguous than previously understood. Loki's ability to create chaos and destruction, while also facilitating renewal and transformation, forces a reevaluation of the nature of divinity. The gods, once seen as paragons of virtue and stability, are revealed to be fallible and susceptible to the same forces of deception and betrayal that plague mortals. This realization fosters a more nuanced understanding of the divine, one that acknowledges the interplay of order and chaos, creation and destruction, in the cosmic order. Loki's legacy also invites reflection on the nature of power and authority. His ability to undermine the gods and bring about Ragnarok highlights the limitations of divine power and the inherent instability of hierarchical structures. The new world, born from the ashes of the old, must navigate these complexities as it seeks to establish a more resilient and equitable order. The gods, now more aware of their vulnerabilities, may adopt a more collaborative and less autocratic approach to governance, recognizing the need for balance and vigilance in maintaining cosmic harmony.